The congressional hearing room was already tense before the gavel struck. Not chaotic, not loud, just tense in the way that happens when everyone in the room knows something might go wrong, and no one's sure who will pull the trigger. Jasmine Crockett and Karoline Leavitt were both scheduled to testify at the hearing on communication in modern government. It had been pitched as a bipartisan discussion about reaching constituents across party lines. But that was just the version the public saw. Behind the scenes, there were emails, conditions, and warnings. Both women had been assured the hearing would remain professional and focused on policy. The committee had promised, or at least they said they had. But just minutes before the hearing began, staffers overheard committee members planning to let them go at each other for the cameras. And both women's teams caught wind of it. When they finally took their seats at the witness table, the C-SPAN cameras were already rolling. The gallery was packed with reporters and citizens, not knowing what was coming. Jasmine sat to the left, papers organized neatly before her. Karoline to the right, equally prepared. The committee chair, a 74-year-old congressman who'd served for 3 decades, began with a patronizing smile. "Ladies, we're here to discuss how your generation communicates with the American people. Let's start with you, Ms. Crockett. How do you justify your often inflammatory rhetoric?" Already, the trap was set. Jasmine's jaw tightened. She responded evenly. "Congressman, I speak directly to my constituents about issues that affect their daily lives. If that's inflammatory to some, perhaps they should examine why truth makes them uncomfortable." Karoline interjected smoothly. "Truth? Or partisan talking points designed to divide rather than unite?" Jasmine turned to her. "I wasn't aware you were on the committee, Miss Leavitt. Are you here to testify or interrogate?" The tension ratcheted up immediately. The committee chair chuckled. Now, ladies. Let's keep this civil." Karoline continued. "I'm simply pointing out that Representative Crockett's communication style seems more focused on creating viral moments than actual governance." Jasmine's composure began to crack. Viral moments? This from someone whose entire career is built on sound bites and photo ops. An elderly committee member leaned into his microphone. "Perhaps we should discuss specific examples. Ms. Crockett, your recent statements about holding power accountable?" Jasmine interrupted. "Yes, let's discuss that. Let's discuss how this committee is more interested in creating conflict between 2 young women than addressing real issues." Karoline saw an opening. There she goes again, deflecting criticism by claiming victimhood. It's a pattern with her. That's when Jasmine's professional facade shattered. She turned fully to face Karoline. "A pattern? You want to talk about patterns? Let's talk about yours. Let's talk about how you've built your entire career on serving the American people." Karoline cut in coolly. "Something you might try instead of serving yourself." Jasmine stood up abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. "Serving yourself? I represent communities that have been ignored for decades. What community do you represent besides ambitious blondes who—" "That's enough." The committee chair banged his gavel. But Jasmine was beyond stopping. "Now, before we witness what happened next in this explosive confrontation, I need to tell you something. What you're about to see is exactly why they don't want you to know these moments exist. They bury them, edit them, pretend they never happened. But we're here, exposing the truth they desperately want hidden. If you believe in real, unfiltered truth, if you're tired of being fed sanitized versions of events, then hit that subscribe button right now. Don't wait until the end, because what's coming next will blow your mind. Subscribe now, and join the thousands who refuse to be lied to anymore. Trust me, after you see what Jasmine does next, you'll understand why they tried so hard to make this disappear." Jasmine's voice rose to fill the chamber. "You want to question my methods? My communication? Go ahead, expose me. Tell everyone how I fight for healthcare. Tell them how I demand justice. Tell them how I refuse to be polite while people suffer." Karoline remained seated, maddeningly calm. "This is exactly what I mean. Theatrics instead of solutions." "Theatrics?" Jasmine was fully unleashed now. You think this is theater? This is rage. Righteous rage at a system that cares more about decorum than democracy. She turned to the committee. And you? You brought us here to fight for your entertainment. To give you footage for the evening news. Well, congratulations. Here's your show. An elderly committee member tried to restore order. Representative Crockett, please control yourself. Control myself? Jasmine laughed bitterly. I've been controlling myself my entire career. Smiling while being dismissed. Staying calm while being disrespected. Following rules written by people who break them daily. I'm done controlling myself. Karoline stood now, her voice cutting through. This is why people don't take you seriously. You can't even maintain composure in a simple hearing. Jasmine whirled on her. Simple? You think this is simple? They pit us against each other, the black Democrat and the white Republican, and you play right along. You're so desperate for their approval that you can't see they're using us both. The gallery was in shock. Some reporters were scribbling frantically, others recording on phones. Karoline's composure finally cracked. Don't you dare suggest I'm anyone's puppet. Then stop acting like one. Jasmine shouted. Stop pretending this is about policy when it's about theater. Stop playing their game. The committee chair banged his gavel repeatedly. Order. I will have order. Jasmine turned to him. Order? You want order? Then run hearings that matter. Stop turning governance into gladiator matches. Stop using young women as entertainment. She grabbed her papers, throwing them down. You want to expose something? Expose this. Two accomplished women, different parties, different backgrounds, who could be working together to serve America. Instead, you've got us fighting for your amusement. That's what needs exposing. An elderly congresswoman on the committee spoke up. Representative Crockett, your behavior is unbecoming. Unbecoming. Jasmine's voice cracked with emotion. What's unbecoming is this charade. What's unbecoming is pretending this hearing is about communication when it's about humiliation. She looked directly at the C-SPAN cameras. America, this is what your government does. Instead of solving problems, they create drama. Instead of fostering cooperation, they fuel conflict. And we let them, because we're too afraid of being called unbecoming. Karoline found her voice again. If you can't handle the pressure. Jasmine spun to face her. I can handle pressure. What I can't handle is the waste. The waste of talent, of time, of opportunity. We could be allies, Karoline. Different approaches, same goal, serving America. But that doesn't get ratings, does it? The committee chair stood now, elderly but imposing. Representative Crockett, you will leave this hearing immediately. Gladly. Jasmine was already gathering her things. But first, let me be crystal clear. I'm not leaving because I'm wrong. I'm leaving because I'm right. This isn't governance. It's a circus, and I refuse to be your performing elephant anymore. She headed for the exit, then stopped and turned back. Karoline, despite what they want, I don't hate you. I hate that they've convinced us we have to hate each other. I hate that they've turned public service into public spectacle. Her voice dropped, but the microphone still caught it. And to this committee, you've exposed something today, all right. You've exposed exactly why Americans have lost faith in government. Because you care more about the show than the service. She looked around the room one last time. I came here to discuss serving my constituents. Instead, I got a lesson in why Washington is broken. Not because of party differences, but because of people like you who profit from those differences. She walked out, her heels clicking against the marble floor, echoing in the silent chamber. The hearing room erupted in chaos as soon as the door closed behind her. What happened next would spark a national conversation about political theater and the real cost of manufactured conflict. After Jasmine's explosive exit, the hearing room descended into confusion. Committee members looked at each other, unsure how to proceed. Karoline remained standing at the witness table, visibly shaken. The gallery was buzzing with shocked whispers. The committee chair tried to restore order. Ms. Leavitt, would you like to continue with your testimony? Karoline stood silent for a long moment, then spoke quietly. Mr. Chairman, Representative Crockett was right about one thing. This wasn't about communication or governance. This was about creating conflict. The committee members looked stunned. She continued, I came prepared to discuss reaching constituents across party lines. Instead, I was encouraged to attack a colleague. That's not why I'm in public service. An elderly committee member interjected, Ms. Leavitt, surely you're not defending that outburst. I'm not defending the delivery, Karoline said firmly. But I'm not dismissing the message either. We were set up to fight, and I'm ashamed I participated. She gathered her materials. If this committee wants to discuss real issues, I'm available. If you want a catfight, find other participants. She walked out with quiet dignity, leaving the committee in stunned silence. Within minutes, footage of the hearing was everywhere. #GoAheadExposeMe began trending among older Americans who were tired of political theater. Jasmine, still in the Capitol building, posted a raw video from a quiet hallway. I apologize for losing my composure, but I don't apologize for my message. We're better than this. America deserves better than this. Our constituents deserve representatives who work together, not against each other for entertainment value. The response was immediate and overwhelming. A 68-year-old veteran wrote, Finally, someone said what we've all been thinking. Congress has become a reality show, and we're sick of it. A retired teacher posted, That young woman showed more courage than politicians twice her age. She exposed the real problem. It's not parties, it's the performance. Surprisingly, Karoline posted her own response an hour later. Representative Crockett and I disagree on many policies. But she was right today. We're being used as pawns in political theater. I'm ready to work with anyone, including her, who wants to serve rather than perform. Within 24 hours, something unprecedented happened. Older constituents from both parties began calling their representatives, demanding less theater and more governance. AARP released a statement. Today's hearing exposed what our members have long suspected, that political conflict is often manufactured for media consumption rather than genuine policy differences. It made things worse. The clips of her calling a 43-year-old Congresswoman little girl, played on repeat, contrasted with Jasmine's dignified response. Within a month, the views ratings among women 35 to 54 plummeted. The show that claimed to represent women's voices had exposed its own bias against younger women's voices. Barbara Walters, the show's creator, broke her silence. The View was meant to showcase diverse perspectives. Dismissing an accomplished woman as a little girl betrays everything we built. 6 months later, Jasmine was invited to speak at a conference on women in leadership. She received a 5-minute standing ovation before saying a word. That day on The View taught me something, she said. We can honor our trailblazers without accepting their limitations. We can respect our elders without accepting their disrespect. And sometimes, walking away is the strongest thing you can do. When asked if she'd ever return to The View, she smiled graciously. I believe in growth and redemption. If they're ready for a real conversation between equals, I'm ready to have it. But I won't be anyone's little girl ever again. Whoopi never directly apologized, but insiders said she was haunted by the incident, particularly by older women telling her she'd become what she once fought against. The View gradually changed. Younger voices were invited more often and treated with more respect. But the damage to Whoopi's legacy was permanent. Jasmine Crockett didn't just walk off The View that day. She walked away from an outdated dynamic that expected younger women to accept condescension as the price of access. She showed millions of women, young and older, that respect isn't about age. It's about recognition of worth. And in calling out a hero who'd lost her way, she became a hero for a new generation. Sometimes the most powerful act isn't staying to fight. It's leaving to maintain your dignity and showing others they can too. The conversation between generations continues. But now, it requires something it didn't before. Mutual respect. Thanks to a congresswoman who refused to be anyone's little girl. and reminded America that wisdom without grace is just arrogance with wrinkles.